History is not always what it seems. Behind the pages of every textbook, beneath the monuments of every great civilization, lies a hidden truth, a story untold, a secret buried by time. These are the stories they didn't want you to know, the ones erased, forgotten, or rewritten. From the shadows of forgotten empires to the whispers of lost civilizations, history is a puzzle with missing pieces. But what if we could find them? What if we could uncover the secrets that were meant to stay hidden? Welcome to the hidden histories of the Secret Ledger, where we don't just read history, we dig deeper, we question, we uncover. And today we're diving into one of history's most fascinating mysteries. So, are you ready to uncover the truth? Then let's begin. Imagine a city thriving, bustling with life, where dreams were being built brick by brick. A place where Black entrepreneurs, doctors, lawyers, and artists were creating a community so prosperous it was dubbed Black Wall Street. But in just 18 hours, that dream was reduced to ashes. This is the story of the Tulsa Race Massacre, a tragedy buried in silence, a wound that still bleeds to this very day. In the early 1900s, Tulsa, Oklahoma was a city divided by race. But in the Greenwood district, African Americans had built something extraordinary. Over 600 businesses, 36 grocery stores, churches, schools, hospitals, and even a library. It was a self-sustaining haven of Black excellence. But on May 31st, 1921, everything changed. It started with a rumor. A Black teenager named Dick Rowland was accused of assaulting a white woman in an elevator. Now the details were murky, but the accusation was enough to ignite a powder keg of racial tension. By the next day, white mobs had descended on Greenwood, armed and ready to destroy. They came by the thousands. Some were even deputized by the police. Others were just merely ordinary citizens, fueled by hatred and jealousy. They looted homes, set fires, and shot indiscriminately. Even airplanes were used to drop incendiary bombs on the neighborhood. Yes, you heard that right, airplanes. As a matter of fact, this was one of the first aerial assaults on American soil, and it was against its own citizens. By the time the violence ended, 35 city blocks were reduced to rubble. Over 1,200 homes were destroyed. Hundreds were killed, though the exact number remains unknown. Some estimates suggest as many as 300 lives were lost. Survivors were rounded up and held in internment camps, forced to prove they had white sponsors in order to be released. One survivor, Olivia Hooker, later stated that they took everything. They burned everything. They destroyed everything. But what's even more chilling is what happened after the massacre. The cover-up. The story was erased. Newspapers buried it. Survivors were silenced. For decades, the Tulsa Race Massacre was omitted from history books. It wasn't until the 1990s that a commission was finally formed to investigate this tragedy. And even today, the fight for justice continues, as many still deny that it ever took place. Descendants of survivors are still demanding reparations. They're fighting to uncover mass graves, to tell the stories of those who were lost, and to ensure that this dark chapter of American history is never forgotten. So why does this even matter? Why revisit a tragedy that happened over a century ago? Because the Tulsa Race Massacre isn't just a story about the past. It's a mirror reflecting the systemic racism that still exists today. It's a reminder of what happens when hatred goes unchecked, when communities are torn apart, and when history is deliberately erased. But it's also a story of resilience. Greenwood was rebuilt once, and it can be rebuilt again. The spirit of Black Wall Street lives on in every Black-owned business across this great country, every activist fighting for justice, and every person who refuses to let this history be forgotten. So let us remember the lives lost. Let's reflect on the lessons of the past, and let's rebuild a future where such atrocities are never repeated. This is the story of the Tulsa Race Massacre, a story we must never forget. So now, let's dive into the conversation down below. What did you think about tonight's story? What other forgotten tales do you think deserve to be brought to light? Remember, just like leaves on a tree, people and their opinions are all unique. Different shapes, sizes, and perspectives, but all are a part of this thing called life. So let's keep the discussion respectful and meaningful, because history is about learning and growing together, not dividing. If you are as passionate about uncovering hidden truths as I am, drop a lantern emoji in the comments to show your support, and let me know you're a true seeker of the untold stories. Until next time, stay curious.